All right, the DDLRG. Had to make sure that there was no prices on this page. Don't worry, we will discuss that. So this is the Daniel Defense Lower. That's right, get yours. It's finally launching for those people that have been waiting for it. And this isn't exactly going to give you an amazing deal on a Daniel Defense rifle by letting you piece one together right now, but this is good news in the long run for people looking for any sort of deal that they can get on a Daniel Defense rifle. This might actually help some of us in the future piece together a Daniel Defense for not $2,000. Because on the low end, that's what a Daniel Defense is going to cost. Or actually, you know what? No, that's not true. That's what a Mark 18 costs. And the price is actually going up. This year, Daniel Defense wants to sell Mark 18s for $2,150, and that $2,150 does not include the pistol brace. That's just coming with a butt naked tube, right? You want the pistol brace on there, or a stock, or whatever. Let's see, a pistol brace. That's another $100. So $2,150 is now $2,250 for a Daniel Defense Mark 18, straight from Daniel Defense. That's what they're going to want you to pay for it, right? Where does that leave, this lower? Well, I can tell you right now, for the sake of all of this, we're just going to say the lower is 600 stones. It comes in a little bit under that. It's like 586 or something ridiculous like that. It's still right under 6. How do I feel about that? Well, it's not all bad because these can go down in price in the future. I'm sure they're going to keep making them because people are going to buy these things. Just in case they don't make any more of them, there will be a handful of people out there that can say, I got a Daniel Defense Lower and got to build a rifle out of it. Nobody else has one. But chances are they're going to keep making these, and hopefully they will go down in price. But just to give you guys an idea, Franklin Armory will give you a lower with a $300 binary trigger in it for less money than what Daniel Defense is asking for their lower, which, by the way, has a mil-spec trigger in this. Okay, there's no Geisley in this. This isn't this isn't going to be an amazing shooter as far as performance goes when it, as far as the standard of an AR. As far as I'm concerned, this is going to come with a mil-spec trigger. You're not really getting all that much extra performance for that $600. Now you're getting a little bit of prestige, right? Because it has Daniel Defense on it. But realistically, we are talking about a mil-spec system here with a mil-spec trigger. They couldn't even polish a few things up and say it's at least an enhanced trigger. I don't know. The Daniel Defense trigger that I have that's mil-spec, it's okay. It's a mil-spec trigger. Okay. My Armalite has a trigger that dumps on the Daniel Defense trigger, and I got that Armalite for $1,200. I paid double for the Daniel Defense, and it does not come with any sort of special trigger at all. Now, don't get me wrong, Daniel Defense has come with Geisley triggers if you spend $3,000. So, that all being said, where does that leave us with this for right under 600? We'll just call it 600 to keep the math simple. So a Daniel Defense DD-M47, the cheapest rifle variant they make. I think it comes with like a 16-inch barrel. I don't think you're getting the badass quad rail on that like I got on my Mark 18. Either way, it's still a Daniel Defense upper that you can score for $1,200 and some odd dollars, $1,215 or something like that. Add your $600. You're still over $1,800 for the cheapest Daniel Defense rifle. So that's right in line with their pricing. They want to be around $2,000. They have a couple rifle options that come in at the $1,850 or whatever. And it's going to be the same thing. If you get the lower right now and you go and get that upper, you're still going to be right under $2,000 for their right under $2,000 rifle. But here's the thing, right? This is the introductory price. Hopefully, these will go down a little bit. Also, I will add this. I have seen some Daniel Defense contract builds where they built too many or a contract fell through or whatever. I've seen Daniel Defense uppers, and they were kind of like an older school design with the rail on it, if I recall correctly. The point is, they were under a grand. Um, I've seen them advertised at a couple places. It was like 1,100, and then I saw them for $998 or whatever a week later. The point is, you could have scored a Daniel Defense upper for a grand, right? And you could get one of these, obviously, for 600, right under that. 1,500, right under 1,600. That's pretty cool. Yeah, you are actually shaving some Daniel Defense money off of that, right? We just went through kind of like their pricing and everything. The cheapest Daniel Defense rifle you're going to get is $1,850. So to drop that down to right under 16, that's substantial. I will say that's substantial, but you have to find one of these uppers for a grand. And I have seen them around, but I don't see them readily available all the time. Don't know if I could find one right now. Here's the other thing though, right? If you do find one of those, you could pick up an upper for a grand and you could hold out for this lower, right? Let's see how many of these lowers they sell. If they end up with a bunch of these sitting around because people realize how much more they can get for $600 by giving up a little bit of that prestige, by Christmas, by Black Friday, they could drop the price on these. Who knows, right? They could shave a couple $100 off of these, at least 100, I'm hoping, depending on how many of these they have laying around in the warehouse by then. And then, hey, if you're lucky, you can snag one of these up and maybe find an upper out there and get a Daniel Defense rifle for, I don't know, 14, 1500 instead of 2000 or close to that. And I think that's cool. There's at least hope of a chance now, because before this, you could get that Daniel Defense upper for a grand. You were going to be stuck putting some kind of other lower on it. You weren't going to have a matching Daniel Defense rifle. And for some people that is important, and like I get that. So this is potential possibilities in the future. And I mean, this can only be good, right? I think this can lead to people getting Daniel Defense rifles for a little bit less money if they piece them together, if they find this on sale here and this on clearance there. But let's not hold our breath too bad, because, well, Daniel Defense doesn't really go on sale. Even like their Black Friday stuff, they're like, oh, Black Friday, we'll take 7% off. You guys are still dirty little pay pigs and you're going to pay for this. They're getting as bad as HK, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. But hey, what do I know? Daniel Defense is kind of one of those brands that looks down on us as dirty little pay pigs, and so does H&K. Honestly, H&K, I mean, you can hear it from them yourselves. They only want to sell to government contracts and military. They really do not care about us regular dirty civilian peons. And quite frankly, they can do that because the product they make is so good and so fine-tuned that people will still line up to pay them and buy their stuff, even if they're technically getting abused by them as a consumer. Now, does Daniel Defense have that good of a reputation? I don't know. I personally, like, they have a great stellar reputation, but is it as powerful as H&K? Because that's almost kind of like how I'm feeling about this. Like, Daniel Defense is up there damn near on, well, I can't say damn near on some H&K prices, because since we are talking about AR rifles, for those of you that didn't know, right, okay, I can score a nice Daniel Defense rifle for $3,000. That is not cheap by any means, but I will get the Geisley trigger and all that. An H&K rifle, they're going to want like $6,000. No, real talk, they are $4,000 to $5,000, and I have a hookup on HK, thanks to Sensei Len. Like, I can at least get a deal on HK stuff. That's how I have my pistol, my match pistol, the VP9 SK, right? So I'm getting like the best HK price anybody can get, which, I'm blessed right now, right? But even with all of that, I would still pay damn near 5 grand for an H&K AR or equivalent. So, I can't really say that Daniel Defense is jacking their price up to HK levels, but I also don't think that Daniel Defense is doing anything as innovative as H&K. Man, they're good. They're like a 9 out of 10, but for some of these processes and for how some of these HK guns are tuned to the caliber, like my VP9SK, I look at it all the time and I say, yeah, I could see them selling this pistol for a grand, and some of them they do sell for a grand. Because they are so fine-tuned to that caliber. That H&K is one of the few pistols that I have where there is no slide kiss marks at all, because the recoil spring is tuned so well for the recoil of 9mm, and with that heavy slide, it's just awesome. Everything feels great, and the wear and tear is very minimum on the gun. The gun plays together very nice with itself, and HK is great at that. And I gotta say, in my armory, my high humidity armory, some of the best corrosion testing that I've seen has come from H&K. Their fasteners are all very well done. They're put through a ton of different processes to make them stronger, more corrosion resistant. All of that shows after a year in my armory, where I can see that the PSA pins and little parts are all starting to rust. But Daniel Defense, H&K, those fasteners, those little parts, they are not rusting. Not like the Palmetto State Armory stuff is, right? So, you do get what you pay for to a certain extent. And Daniel Defense does it pretty damn good. Looking at my Mark 18 rifle, it's solid, right? Now, is it over $2,000 solid? That is all up to you. I'm very happy, with my Mark 18. And hey, I guess, it could be worse, right? Because if my Daniel Defense had an H&K on it, forget about $2,000, it would cost $4,000 or $5,000. So that's kind of where I'm at with Daniel Defense. This is technically good news for the future. This is a good premier brand. A lot of people like Daniel Defense. And hey, hold on. Let's not rag on this. Let's point out some of the awesomeness here. This is 70-75 grade aluminum, so that's cool, even though I think the quad rail they make is 60-61. I don't know why they would do that, but hey, whatever. Comes with the H buffer, the 6-position mil-spec 70-75 T6 aluminum. And you are getting the Daniel Defense buttstock, and you are getting the Daniel Defense pistol grip. It is a great looking lower, and Daniel Defense has their own proprietary buttstock and pistol grip, and they look and work very, very well. The Daniel Defense is still stock in my armory as far as the pistol grip goes on it. And if mine came with the buttstock, I probably would have left it, because, I mean, they have their own kind of iconic little, I can say it's iconic at this point, because just about everyone that is in the know with rifles and shit, they're going to be able to recognize a Daniel Defense buttstock. I can recognize a Daniel Defense pistol grip just because of the overmolding on it. They work really well and they look really good. So, got to give credit where it's due. At the same time, you can get a decent lower for half this price. So we're still going to keep it real here, but this leaves possibilities for the future. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. I think I've covered it all in here, and this has drug on long enough. But I wanted to get something out there on the Daniel Defense lowers, because a lot of gun guys are going to be hearing about this stuff, because this is launching right now. So possible good stuff in the future, but right now I don't think you're getting much out of this build. is what I'm saying. So maybe this is one of those things where you keep an eye on this and you wait, right? And now if you come across a Daniel Defense upper for an actual good price, you can dig this out of the back of your mind and be like, oh yeah, that's right, I can get a Daniel Defense lower now. It's at least possible without me having to buy somebody else's used Daniel Defense rifle and then cannibalizing a lower out of that, right? Because this was one of the only other options that we had. I've even thought about what I would do if, whatever, I at least have a Daniel Defense lower. I paid a lot for it, but I could take my Daniel Defense lower off and stick it to another upper, right? It is a good, solid working lower, but I wouldn't pay this for another one right now. And that's all I'm saying. Yeah, in fact, for this price, they should come with a Geisley trigger. That was when I saw the price on it, I started reading through the features because I was like, if it comes with a $200 trigger, okay. But no, that is not the case. We are mil-spec'd the F out here. So, get yours, maybe get yours later, maybe just hold off and wait for, hey, Black Friday, right? 6 months away, Black Friday, maybe you can snag a whole 8% off. Anyway, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about these. And if you are waiting for one of these or you're going to buy one of these, leave me a comment. Let me know because I'd like to know how the launch of these things go. Just because Daniel Defense is a premium brand, doesn't mean that things always go smooth, right? On product launches. The last pistol, I think the only pistol that Daniel Defense launched, that remake of the Hudson pistol, from my understanding, the launch was terrible and the pistol is absolute trash, and now you don't hear anything about it. And a lot of people paid damn near probably $2,000 or something for one of those pistols, and I've seen a lot of people disappointed. So I doubt that'll be the case with this lower though, because they've been making these for a long time. So yeah, leave me a comment though. Let me know if you're getting any of this stuff, and then you can keep us posted and let us know how your experience went, because I like to think that a launch like this would go great without a hitch. But the only way we're going to know is if we communicate a little bit and talk to some people that actually scoop one of these up right now. So, leave me a comment, share the vid, and thanks for all your support. You guys are awesome. I will see you on the flip side. Later.